The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So, Adam, I got some news via email yesterday.
Okay.
I entered the lottery for tickets to the Euro Cup. And I did receive 4 tickets for a game on June 25th next year. And the draw came out yesterday also.
Yeah.
And the game that we're going to be seeing is Netherlands versus Austria.
Ooh,
which
not
will
bad.
in Berlin.
Oh, great.
Which will kind of be a fun one. So that's, they made those draws yesterday, right?
Yes. I saw the draws. Well, the very first game is Germany versus Scotland.
Yeah.
Should be a great one.
So I'll be in Germany next summer. Hopefully I'll get to see some of the other games, because I know the Copa games are going on at the same time too, right?
Yes, and they got the draw for that coming up this week too. So we'll know where everybody's at. Exciting stuff.
Okay. Well, we have lots more to cover because it's time for Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So I don't ordinarily root for the Netherlands, but, especially against Austria, since my father's from Austria. But I think the fact that we have 2 of my favorite Liverpool players playing on the Netherlands, you got Virgil van Dijk, you got Gepko. Actually, there's 3 now, right? Don't they have another one? Granderman or something like that? Or
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so, that I may be rooting for the Netherlands in Berlin.
Hey, it's a heck of a group too. I mean, you know who the other team is in that group?
No, who?
A little team called France that might win the whole thing.
Wow.
So, and then they get a playoff winner. But that's probably the group of death, if anything.
Yeah.
Holland, Austria, France, and then whatever the playoff winner is. But that's a heck of a group for sure.
Wow, sure is. So let's talk about what's going on in the Premier League, because that's what we talk about mainly here.
Premier League football. What's happening on the pitch?
Haven't played that one in a while.
Yeah.
The team that we just is a foregone conclusion that is going to win the league because they've won it, 10 years in a row? How many years in a row have they won it now?
3 years in a row.
3 years in a row. Manchester City. They are actually not at the top of the table. And they had quite a game this past week. They had a draw against Tottenham. They were leading that game. Jack Grealish scored a big goal to make it 3-2. It looked like they would just coast to another victory. Tottenham was crying on the sidelines. And then they came back and they managed to get a draw, which means now that Man City hadn't won a game in 3 straight games. It also, they haven't lost either, right?
True.
But the panic is out. I was reading the various different message boards and listening to some of the pundits out there. Would you like to hear what some of the pundits are saying?
Sure.
Roy Keane, you know who he is, right?
Yeah.
I'm starting to become doubtful about City winning the title. There's a reason it hasn't been won 4 years in a row, because keeping those levels up, that hunger, desire, you get a few injuries, some of the top boys coming off of it. But certainly Arsenal and Liverpool I'm looking at, especially Arsenal, with the strength and depth they've got and the experience of last year. Okay, so that sounds like he's thinking maybe it won't be Man City this year. Jamie Carragher. Maybe this season Arsenal have the experience and will be stronger in those moments. We know Liverpool have been there before with the manager and certainly half the team. We might have ourselves a title race going into March or April. And then Gary Neville. He says, there are always warning signs. The problem is with City, we've become accustomed to them not being complacent and not playing like this. There's definitely a pattern of them not waking up, thinking it's going to be easy. 9 goals conceded in 4 matches is so unlike Manchester City. Those are three of the more prominent commentators in England, wouldn't you say?
Yes, definitely, definitely. But I must say there is a little bit of an issue here because
I think I know what you're going to say.
you got two of these three being former Manchester United players.
And the other one's a Liverpool guy.
And then the third one is a Liverpool. So do you think there's a little bias of where their thoughts are?
Perhaps.
The noisy neighbours, as they were known, are better than the mess that's going on with Manchester United, which I'm sure we'll talk about another day. But yeah, I mean, I'm not worried. I mean, they should have won. They should have scored right at the end. Unfortunately, not the best refereeing decision there. The guy was clean through and he calls it back for a foul.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that play.
That was awful. I mean, that's something I would see in some of the lower leagues here and some of our grassroots levels with some of our youth coaches who are still youth referees who are still learning the game. That's an easy mistake. But when you're thinking of a professional being paid to be a referee, that shouldn't happen. So, yeah, okay, 3 points difference, and they're probably closer than what they were before. I'm not worried.
I will also say this: we're recording this on a Tuesday.
Yeah,
they play Wednesday against Aston Villa. Good chance that they win that game, and then the talking stops. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, they could be top of the league again by the end of the week. So again, you just never know. It's so close. I'm just excited that we've got a lot more teams to watch, and it's going to be a little bit closer. I think Man City's just playing with us, but that's all right. So just let us keep it close for a little while.
I'm fine with them playing with us. It makes it more interesting.
I totally agree.
And, you got to remember, there's this little guy named Kevin De Bruyne who has not played all year long, who is only one of the top 5 or 6 players in the world.
Exactly.
So when he comes back, they're going to just be better.
Totally right. Exactly. When he gets there, they will be better. There's no question. And he's good for a few assists. There's no question.
But I will say these games have been pretty exciting. And that game against Tottenham was a great game. And I got to give Tottenham credit because they did not give up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at even when you think of the 3 draws that Man City have had. You had a 4-4 and a 3-3. I mean, they're great for them. And then Tottenham have had, even though they've lost a few. Well, that's Tottenham. But they certainly give it everything they've got. And obviously they've been absolutely hammered with the injuries, arguably 2 center backs and red cards as well. So it's injuries, red cards, and everything else. So they've been really hampered by that. So that makes a big difference as well.
I do like their coach though. I like that Australian guy. I mean,
Ange Postecoglou. Yeah, the Ange ball as they call it. It's exciting. There's always going to be goals, and that's what Tottenham fans want. They want excitement.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not going to win. They'd just rather be excited.
I thought you were going to say, because they've never had it.
Yeah. Oh, no, they've always had lots of excitement. They always concede a lot of goals. I mean, it's nice that they score a few now. So it's good for them. Good job, Tottenham.
Well, let's talk about another team that I have been watching for the many years now. Liverpool.
Yes.
So this is another barn burner of a game. I don't know if you saw that game at all. They were down a goal with a few minutes left. I turned it on because it was one of those, 8:00 games. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. So you stuck in there for the second half. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And Liverpool was down 3-2 against Fulham because Liverpool just has decided that defense is optional. But I will say they have one of the most amazing offenses to watch, and it is just a joy when they're clicking on all cylinders. They knocked in 2 goals in the last few minutes and won just a tremendous game.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold is now turning into a legitimate goal scorer,
Yeah.
which is very interesting. The McAllister goal was just an absolute treat. I mean, that shot from a distance into the top right-hand corner was amazing. But you're absolutely right. They're exciting to watch, very much like the Tottenham and Liverpool game. It's lots of goals. I think on Sunday, out of the 5 games that took place, there was 24 goals. I mean, that's fantastic.
It is
great. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to see goals. Not great for the goalkeepers, I get it, but this is what people want to go and see. So goalkeepers are having good games, great. But lots of chances, lots of goals being scored. I mean, Alexander-Arnold, what a fantastic free kick he had there. That was tremendous.
Yeah. So let me just say this to the Premier League. You have a team that is, one of the most exciting teams in the world, if not the most exciting team in the world. And this coming weekend, you're starting their game at 6:30 in the morning in America. And I'm not going to watch it. I'm not. That is way too early for me. How about featuring your most exciting team in the primetime games? Just an idea.
Yeah, maybe send them a note, because I know it's tough. But if you're a true fan, Rick, you'd make that commitment. You'd make that commitment to get it up. So I do.
Yeah, I'm a true fan of sleeping too. So
I get it. No, it's tough. And I've never been a big fan of the 12:30 kickoffs. That's what the time is in England when they do that. Traditionally, the games have always started at 3. That's what people know on a Saturday. Since the TV deal, which they just signed a new one. I don't know if you saw that.
I did,
Close to $7 billion, something crazy, which will probably allow NBC to show more games again. But traditionally, that's when obviously games change, so they can show more. But you're always going to get in that 9 a.m. slot 3 or 4 games, and that to me is traditional Saturday football, as they say.
So the other team that's in the top 4 right now, we've talked about last couple of weeks, that just kind of snuck in there, is Aston Villa. Now, I think that this is a come to Jesus week for Aston Villa. And we already mentioned they're playing against Man City on Wednesday. On Saturday or Sunday, I forget which day, this coming weekend, they are playing Arsenal. So we'll find out what they're all about, won't we?
I totally agree. It's the classic, are you a contender or a pretender week? I mean, that's basically what it's going to boil down to. We'll see if they're made of it. They've got the 2 toughest teams in the league, arguably.
Yeah.
We'll see where they stack up.
They did not play great last weekend.
No, they got literally an injury time week equalizer against a Bournemouth team that's obviously near the bottom of the table. So that doesn't hold well. The good thing, I guess, if you want to turn it into a positive, as Villa boss Emery always does, is he appreciated the fighting quality of his side. The classic, well, you didn't play very well, but you fought at the end and you got a goal.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Way to go, lads.
Yeah.
Except he's not. He's Spanish.
Exactly. That's a good point. I don't know if he says lads in Spanish.
Yeah,
I'll have
probably
to get the
not.
translation.
Yeah.
But they've got a legitimate goal scorer in Ollie Watkins, who's banging goals in, obviously in the England squad as well. So they've always got a chance. And I think they've got talent. Douglas Luiz is being courted by Manchester City, actually. I think they really want him.
Yeah, they need more guys.
Yeah, exactly. They need a little bit extra help, with De Bruyne going out.
Yeah.
But they're, like you said, you're absolutely right. This is going to be the week to see if they are.
All right. So
the team.
When we gather for our next podcast, we'll have some sort of an answer on that. And by the way, Everton looked like they were a little angry this past weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah. Interesting how they played. I mean, they played well. got the win, which was good. I mean, away from home is always a good victory. Glad that they were able to sneak it. And they were probably deserving against the Nottingham Forest side that kind of looked they struggled a little bit. So I'm a little fearful of the manager at Nottingham Forest because in terms of his ability to stay there, because they invested a lot of money in players. And so whenever chairman or owners do that, that kind of help, is always a tough thing because they're always quickly to change. And talking of changes, I don't know if you saw the news. Sheffield United have replaced their manager. He is gone. So got a new manager there in Chris Wilder, who was formerly their manager. And probably the 5-0 drubbing against Burnley, who's just right above them, didn't help his cause.
Yeah, I think he was fired at halftime.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, that was a rough one, and was that Burnley's first win or maybe second win of the entire season? So
yeah, second win. Yeah. No,
not good. All right, well, Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer has been proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and is a non-profit corporation. Charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, charter member of U.S. Youth Soccer, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, the Olympic Development Program, and referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org.
So we teased something last week. This week,
yes.
Let's put a little meat on that bone.
And now, the latest Chicago area soccer news. Soccer news with Coach Adam. Coach Adam.
So tell everybody who you just got off the phone with before we chatted today.
Yeah, so I was able, typically I may get a few early morning calls, but this was an exciting one to always get. So our men's national team's boss, Greg Berhalter, gave me a call just because we had to do a slight rescheduling because if you haven't heard, I know we've been doing a little bit of a media surge of information, but we have a Zoom call for all of our members of Illinois Youth Soccer, register a Zoom call with Greg Berhalter, the U.S. men's national team coach. So we're really excited about that. Unfortunately, we've had to kind of slightly pivot a little bit just due to his commitments with the Copa America and different things, and we're just going to move that. Originally, it was scheduled for Wednesday of this week. We're moving it just to Thursday. Same time, same link, all that stuff. But make sure you check in on our website for information on the Greg Berhalter Zoom call. He'll be talking about style of play and the technical plan, how U.S. soccer is going to try and do things, and in preparation for the summer and the Copa America. So exciting stuff.
Okay. And this might have already happened by the time you hear this podcast, but I'm going to predict a few things that he says. You ready?
Okay, go for it.
I'll try not to get you fired here. I predict he's going to say, it's a game of two halves. He will say, there are no easy games at this level. And he's going to say, we're taking it one game at a time. He's going to say, you couldn't write a script like this. He's going to say, we have to focus on the fundamentals. And he's going to say, goals win games. Just a few predictions. But
that's so fantastic. And it's so funny you say that because we were talking about that at a workshop this week I was at, about great quotes. And there's a Twitter account which just deals with all of the coaches, and they have a little reel of coaches saying exactly those things. My favorite one, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I'd love to know where that one came from. Any idea?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but it's just a classic, so yeah. But that game of two halves, the proof is in the pudding, or they're a great outfit. Any of those types of things is always good.
All right, it's time for your favorite feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
Okay, this is a very established player that we've got this week. Ready? He is 30 years old. Who is it? He is a midfielder.
Okay.
This is his first year playing in the Premier League, but it's his fourth country that he's playing in professionally. He's 30. He's previously played in Belgium, in Germany, and his native land. Okay.
Okay.
He plays on his national team. Has even served as the captain of his national team.
Okay.
He doesn't score often, but he scored the goal that got his German team, Stuttgart, into the first Bundesliga.
So he got them promoted back.
Yes.
Okay. Playing with Stuttgart, 30 years old.
He also scored a big goal last weekend.
Okay, all right. This is first year. So
he's from Japan.
Okay, from Japan, and it's his first year.
Yep. He wears the color red.
Okay, so he scored a goal for Liverpool. Would that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say.
Okay, and I'm going through my mental block of names here because he's established, but he's not massively well known. Is that probably fair to say?
That is fair to say. I'll give you another hint. He's the opposite of beginning O.
What the heck? What does that mean?
But when you figure out his name, you'll get it.
Oh my gosh! I'm trying to remember his name here. Oh my goodness!
What's the opposite of beginning?
Ending. Endo. There you go. That's who it was. Jeepers. Oh my goodness. Endo. Yes, absolutely. I'll be honest with you. I had no idea about Endo as a player and what he's achieved, to be honest.
Well,
that's why he's not a Premier League star, Rick. For goodness sake.
What are you talking about? He plays for Liverpool. He scored a big goal. He's Wataru Endo. He's been a captain of the Japanese national team. He is a big star. But all right. Boy, you're really gonna regret that time that you said that I make these too easy.
Yeah, no, that was a tough one.
That was a tough one. Yes, agreed. Because between you and me, I had never really heard of him before this past week.
and you support the team.
I know.
So there you go.
I'd heard of him, but he never really did much for me until he scored that goal, and now he's my best friend.
Of course, there you go. That's how it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were the other teams he played for?
He played for Stuttgart, and he played in Belgium for I think Anderlecht or whatever it's called. No, I don't have it here in front of me, but it was in Belgium.
Okay, he was in Belgium too. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if he's played that much, to be fair.
Well, he was a big star in the Bundesliga.
Yeah.
Which, you don't watch. Which is
That's
fine.
right. I mean, I don't watch it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I always try to, sometimes I'll pull up information afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, the teams he's played before Stuttgart, I'd never heard of.
I know.
I mean, and I like to think of myself, I mean, the team in Belgium, never really heard of, so.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
What is the team in Belgium?
Saint Trudon.
Oh,
Trudon,
yeah.
I believe it was. Yeah.
Of course.
So,
Who could forget that? Who could forget his days roaming the midfield for them?
Yeah.
All right, it's time for my favorite feature of the show.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
Other than stumping you, this is my favorite portion of the show where you tell us what games to watch. I happen to have done a little perusing of what's coming up, and boy, there's some good ones.
There's some amazing games, and I'm going to divert on a couple of things before you talk about the Premier League. Now, we have to mention it. It's the MLS Cup final. It's our National League here. That's going to be going on Saturday, December the 9th. And for those of you, you may or may not have Apple TV, but it is actually, this game is free on Apple TV. So you can actually flip it on and watch it. So it's at 3:00 on Saturday in Columbus. It's going to probably be pretty chilly. Columbus versus LAFC. So that should be a good one to watch. And then also, I obviously coaching college for a long time. It's the culmination of the College Cup, the Final Four weekend. They had games on Friday and also on the finals on Monday. So you've got Clemson, West Virginia, Oregon State, and Notre Dame in the Final Four on the men's side. So that should be exciting. So there's a little sidebar of games.
And I think Florida State won it for the ladies side this year.
Yep, absolutely right. Just yesterday on Monday night, Florida State won it quite convincingly against a Stanford team as well that was, doing pretty well. They were the number one team. I think when I turned it off, it was at 4-1. I'm not sure how much it finished, but it was quite a convincing win for Florida State. And then for Premier League, I mean, there's games this week, as Rick already mentioned, but the two ones I think we're going to have to watch. I think Saturday has to be Villa versus Arsenal. We will definitely find out if they are contenders. That's an 11:30 kickoff, so it works out for everybody's schedule. And then Sunday, this should be a good one too. I think there's going to be a lot of goals in this just because of the way they play. I think I'm probably going to start watching Spurs more often because I know they're going to score and concede goals. So Spurs versus Newcastle on Sunday, 10:30 kickoff. I think should be a good one. Newcastle slowly moving up the table, had a big win against a Manchester United outfit who are struggling big time. Lots of talk about that. So we may have to come back and circle back on Man United next week because who knows if Ten Hag's going to last the season.
Yeah, there could be a series of firings. They like to do it around Christmas time.
Exactly. Yeah, make
Christmas.
Everybody happy. Happy Christmas. I think last year, if I remember, there was somebody got fired on Christmas Eve or something. I mean, talk about the worst timing. But there's a lot of games at Christmas. You know that. So,
well, let's remember, Ebenezer Scrooge was an Englishman.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Well, that sounds exciting. I'm looking forward to all of those games.
Yeah.
This podcast has also been brought to you by Green White Soccer. Green White has been serving the Chicago community for 65 years. You can find them at greenwhitesoccer.org. We're run by Mustafa Edders, who's an excellent coach. We should also thank Tony Lasano, our executive producer, for his hard work on the show. He's with Opie Productions. We should also thank Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. It just moved to a better place. RadioMisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week with a brand new episode of Free Kicks.
The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?